Hi, I'm Pythius, and today we're going to take a look at this little synth right here. It's the Microfreak by Arturia, and packs quite a lot of points for the small size that it has. Today we're going to take a look at some of the unique functions of it, and we're going to make a drum and bass base with it. So, let's go! Alright, so let's jump into the synth. Let's start out with seeing whatever kind of oscillators it has. It's the basic one, the basic wavetable. You have 3 different parameters per oscillator, which will differ what they do for every oscillator. For this one, it's just pretty simple. It's a morph, sum, and sub. And then you got a super wave, and with this one you can switch which kind of wave super it is. Or obviously this is saw, the square, the triangle, and you can have a super sinus for whatever reason. And there's a detune. So you can get the real trancey feel in there. And a volume for like the other saw, so you can just go back to like a single. And there's a wavetable, which is pretty cool. So with this one you can just switch which wavetable it is. And here you can the wavetable position and a chorus. But since we're making a bass, not a lead, we're gonna go down 2 octaves. Pretty gnarly. It's a pitch bend here, which feels quite nice. It's different than the pitch bend wheels. You can just like, if you press here, it will immediately go down there, and then it's nice. So you got a lot of other oscillator types, like a harmonic one, carburetor analog one, which sounds like a Reese bass already, without doing anything. Brilliant. Wave shaper. FM thing, form and chords, which we go up here. This one displays chords. Yeah, and here you can select which chord it is, like a major 7, major 9, a 69. Nice. M7. Yeah, there you go. You can invert it even, which is pretty cool. And you can switch away from it. Alright, but since we're going to make a bass, we're going to go to one of my favorite ones. This one is called Bass, which is actually added in later with an update. They just added in more oscillator types, because why not, for free, by noise engineers. It's called Bass. You need to go down 2 octaves again. This one sounds pretty cool. You can saturate it a bit, fold it, and add noise, because they're noise engineering. So every one of the noise engineering oscillators has an extra button to dial in more noise, because we all need that for extra coolness. It does make it more crunchy. So we're gonna use the Saw X, which sounds pretty nice. So you got the Saw mod, here's a shape, and more noise. But yeah, let's just keep it simple. Here's a cutoff. For the filter, because the oscillators are digital on this one, the filter is actually analog, which sounds quite nice. It's got obviously the band pass, high pass, low pass. Need more resonance. Alright, that's cool. Well, so let's try some things out. Let's just send an envelope to the cutoff. Attack short. DK shorter as well, so they nowhere to be found, and then send the envelope to the cutoff, so we get more of the bow, 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 bow. All right, so that sounds pretty right. Your typical funk bass. Well, this thing is pretty cool as well, because we got an arpeggiator and a sequencer, so the arpeggiator is pretty straightforward. Bit too fast for me, so let's put that down to 1/8. So we got a simple riff here. This sounds cool. yeah, that was as simple as it gets. But it sounds nice, so I like it. I actually really like these kind of basses. One of the things that makes the synth unique is, as you can see, the keyboard. It looks a bit different from, well, the thing I got here. That's because it's touch sensitive, and we can apply parameters to how much pressure we're putting on every one of the notes. So, for instance, you're playing this cool bass riff with both your hands, but you don't have time to then, you know, play around with the cutoff, because then your bass riff will be less cool because you can't play with both your hands. But they made a solution for that, and that is, we could go to the matrix here, which obviously shows like this the modulator, and this the parameter it goes to. Then we go to press, which, well, you can guess what that does. It's a pressure you put on the notes, so we put that on the cutoff, increase it by like, I don't know, 40%, something like that. So then when we play, that is pretty awesome. And it works on arpeggiators as well. And it's pretty cool to do too. Also, where you're playing like with pads or anything, that can be quite a cool function as well. All right, so next to the arpeggiator, you also got the sequencer. So let's dive into that. You press shift here and then the ARP button, and then it goes blue and you're in the sequencer. It's got 2 different sequences per preset. So, and you can either like step mode it in, or just have like a free play kind of thing where you can make your sequence, which I actually quite like. So let's do that. Real-time recording, it says. Now we'll just keep looping whatever I just played, which is actually pretty cool. And then you got both your hands free to dial on the cutoff or whatever other parameters you want. It's quite nice if you just want to do a synth jam and want to have this one going, and then go to another synth, or I don't know, like a drum computer or something. Works pretty well. Alright, so one of the other cool things you can do with this, with the matrix, just like in Serum or anything, you can assign basically anything to anyone. Well, obviously with all the modulators, you can assign it to a lot of functions, because you got the standard ones here, the pitch, wave, timbre, cutoff. But then there's also an assign button, which you can assign it to even more stuff. So that's actually pretty cool. Like that already has the wave and the timbre here, but you can also assign it to the shape, which I didn't include here, but I could though, or assign it to the resonance or that kind of stuff, which actually makes it a bit more versatile. Yeah, so what we're gonna do to spice up our sound, because, well, it's not very going at the moment. Let's put it back on the arpeggiator, because I wrote like I had like this simple. Yeah, start from there. I don't know, I like this riff. It sounds... It's simple, but it has the energy, especially with like the one note that goes up at the end. So, but we want to have a bit more like spice to it, and do that from the synth, because it doesn't have any onboard effects, but we can still spice it up pretty much before we dive into the whole post-processing stuff. So what I want to do is have the cycles envelope control one of the parameters, and in this case it's the timbre. Well, it's not really doing the timbre, but it's the saw shape, which can be pretty wild if you start messing around with that. So we're gonna, yeah. Now it's not doing any. Yeah, and I put this on envelope, so it just goes up and then down every time it hits. So. Find a sweet spot the full time. You get that like weird which you can use for like end of bars or something, just to make the sound a lot weirder, a lot quicker, but just like hoppa, and then oh, there you go, it sounds weirder, which is cool. Alright, so let's dive into some post-processing. So at first I start out with the tantrum, which is a nice distortion unit. it sounds pretty cool. Makes the sound a lot fatter, so let's maybe put this one on to decrease it a bit. Yeah, that sounds cool. Use the tube shape because I like how it figures the sound. Then we have an EQ3 here, which needs to be activated first, which like decreases the lows a bit because the sub was way out balanced with the rest. And yeah, pushes a bit here. And then we have this EQ5 one that just, yeah, so I'm just like to push the harmonics a bit. It sounds cool, make it give a bit that overdriven, like it's going through a cabinet or something. Then there is a multi-band here with the phaser 10-2 and a sidewire to give it a bit more stereo, because obviously it's a mono synth, so the signal comes out as mono. So you get the whiteness to fit it into the stereo as well. Alright, so then there's in the fixed layer, there's a noise gate, a devastator, and a devaster, by the way, and a ProQ3. The noise gate as well, there's a lot of noise since it's an analog line, so there'll always be introduced like noise. So, especially when I'm pushing it with like a lot of distortions and amps and stuff, it will obviously the noise floor will be pushed up as well. So this is to reduce that, so when it's silent, it won't have like a whole bunch of noise going through. Then it's the faster 2 for like extra distortion. Then we can just solo this channel. Yeah, the whole thing is soloed, so you won't hear it. And then there's a ProQ3 after that, just to take out the low, so it just like a bit of extra distortion on the whole. Yeah, you can hear the difference when I mute it or unmute it. So that's a nice addition. Then there's like a slight bit of Pro R, just to, you know, like give it a bit more like reverb. Makes it sound a bit realer. And then this standard clip to clip, well, the hell out of it. You don't really hear it, but yeah, it's useful. And then another tool just to reduce the volume at the end a bit. And then for the rest of the project, I added in some drums and some synths just to complement it. Yeah, this is like a trancey thing. Just help that like this layer standing on top of it. And then, well, since we're in 2021, we need a brass. Everybody needs that in drum and bass. Apparently, everybody's crazy about trumpets or like brass sounding synths. So here you go. Yeah, so that's it really. That's how you kind of use this, and it's pretty simple. Just like distort the hell out of it. It's a nice bass to have. Yeah, it's cool. It works. What you can do though, because it's still a pretty cool synth. Let's disable this. Yeah, maybe we can keep running. Yeah, so what is cool though, so you got the sound made, but you want to change it real fast, or like so you can just like start touching the wavetable, the oscillator type button, and then have a different sound just at like one rotation of a button. Some sound pretty cool, some don't, or some need some extra tweaking. Wave shaper one sounds. And you can then record this and then layer it on top of that, and then you can have like an even cooler. We might actually. So the analog one's obviously the one that was the Reese bass, that was pretty detuned harmonic. Yeah, it's the wavetable one. So you get more like a leady sound. Kind of like this. Yeah, so obviously a ton of wavetables, which everyone sounds completely different. What you can do is like bounce this. Duplicate. Yeah. And then say, all right, I want to bounce this. Yeah. it is obviously real-time bouncing because it's a hardware synth. Alright, so that's cool. Drag this back here. Maybe because you got the starting delay. Yeah, so that's cool. Then we go back to our saw wave. Yeah. Look at this. That sounds pretty cool. You can just like have a layer on top with which is sort of the same, but not really, because you literally just completely change the sound. But with just a flick of the wrist, you can just change the whole sound and it can work pretty fast for your workflow. I like it. All right, thank you for watching. I hope you learned a bit about the Arturia Microfreak, which is a banging synth, and also about using hardware in your drum and bass productions. And well, see you next time. Bye.